Candace Owens made the assertion that Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, is handing over the keys of TPUSA to the very people he opposed, the Neocons.
It's uninteresting to me. They've done a mess of Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, the entire Middle East, Ukraine. We know what the neoconservatives believe.
Oh, Charlie, if only you knew that they're trying to convince us that the legacy of Turning Point USA is actually neocons. Neocons will be opening for AmFest, people that want war, people who are cheering about regime change in Iran today are the very people that your wife is going to hand over the keys to.
That's exactly what this conflict is about. Turning Point USA's legacy. A lot of people are asking if the company's original vision is dead. And the short answer is, yes, it is. This isn't just about politics or who's running AmFest. The drama you saw in that clip is a symptom of something bigger. TPUSA is hitting a cosmic, karmic breaking point. This would be happening in some way, whether Candace was involved or not. That's because the company is currently in a progressed balsamic moon phase. It's in a cycle of closure. That's why it looks weak and can't effectively fight back against the drama. The real trouble could hit this spring. The recent lunar eclipse in Virgo directly challenges the company's core purpose and its financial stability, forcing a definitive end to one version of its legacy. It marks the start of a new turning point for TPUSA. In May and June 2026, the company begins a brand new 30-year cycle with its progressed new moon, but also makes a multi-year shift into the isolating 12th house of its inception chart. This means the operation ostensibly goes dark. We're talking about a period of potential invisibility, working extensively behind the scenes, spending more time in service of institutions and other charitable works, or even going completely private. I'm going to lay out the full astrological timeline, how this external fight with Candace Owens is cosmically fated, what it means for Erika Kirk's battle to preserve Charlie's legacy, and the potential final end to Charlie's original vision in 2027. The organization understandably wants to keep the vision alive. This is from their website. One thing to realize is that TPUSA is at the end of a larger cycle and is about to enter a season where there should be a slowdown, clearing out, reevaluation, and a reset of the vision. If they push too hard through this time period, it can have negative results in the long term. But if they embrace the nature of the cycle, they can flourish. TPUSA is essentially going through a corporate crisis of consciousness. Let's take a look at how this all comes together by starting with the context and the current state of TPUSA. To understand the company's current state, we have to look at its birth chart. With Leo rising, this company was built on a vision of grand expression and truth-seeking through the lens of leadership. A Leo rising ascendant for a corporation creates a brand that must have a central charismatic figurehead. This is a regal chart. It's built to be seen, to lead, and to occupy center stage. The company was founded on Charlie's nodal return, meaning the organization's destiny was to be a vehicle for his personal creative vision. You can see here that they both have their north node in Sagittarius. And so Charlie's north node was in TPUSA's 5th house of creativity, and they were almost exactly conjunct. So that means that Charlie was intricately aligned with TPUSA. So the direction of TPUSA was also Charlie's direction. But since he's now the martyr of that mission, the company's nodal square is acting like a midlife crisis that tests if the entity can survive without its founder. So the company's north node is here, and the transiting node is here in Pisces. So this is a square. And whenever we have a nodal square, oftentimes this is where things change. The square is a point of frustration that requires some change and action. When it is with the nodes, it relates to destiny and direction. Look at the 11th house Gemini stellium. That is right here. That's the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all packed together. The 11th house is the house of the movement and the network. Having a Gemini stellium here means the organization's entire vitality is dependent on its ability to communicate and distribute information to the masses. The leadership's main job is the message. And the rare Venus Cazimi that is here, where Venus and the Sun are at the same degree of 15 degrees, gave them a charmed golden child ability to attract massive funding and social popularity. And with Mercury here ruling the second house, so you have Mercury here at 26 degrees, and it rules the second house. Let's point it here. It rules the second house here of the organization's finances. This is the main arena for fundraising. So you can tell that if the Mercury rules this house and this is the audience and the people, they're mainly responsible for the company's funding. So Mercury is also out of bounds at 25 degrees declination. This means the company can do extreme innovation, or they can be extreme in terms of innovation and in terms of communication and raising money. Now look to the 6th house Moon-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. That is going to be right here. You see Moon conjunct Pluto. The 6th house rules daily operations and staff. Putting the people, which is the Moon, next to power and control, that's Pluto, in the sign of structure, Capricorn, creates a very intense internal environment. Internal management might be handled with an all or nothing intensity, but with deep emotion and insight. And employees could feel like they're in a high pressure but transformative environment. Employees could be either fiercely loyal or highly fearful in the workplace. But this aspect can also lead to power struggles and a toxic work environment. The organization is highly disciplined and detail-oriented in financial matters, with Mars in Virgo in the 2nd house. So that is Mars right here in the 2nd house, Virgo. This would create a strong work ethic focused on precision, efficiency, and practical results. There would be an emphasis on building long-term stability through careful analysis, meticulous planning, and risk management. Their PR department, which is Saturn in Libra in the 3rd house, and that is right here, would bring a serious, formal, and legalistic tone to the company's messaging, focused on justice, diplomacy, and fairness. There's a goal of balanced, ethical, and well-reasoned communication in partnerships, client relations, and public messaging. But there could be a tendency to be overly cautious and delayed in communications. Pluto in Aquarius is transiting TPUSA's 7th house, the house of partnerships, open enemies, and legal contracts. That is Pluto right here transiting that house. Pluto in the 7th means powerful, shadow-heavy partners could attempt to infiltrate or steer the organization, or it could mean partnership with powerful, transformative people or entities. The company is in a dark moon phase. It's the progressed balsamic moon. So this is the progressed chart on the outside here, and here is the progressed, or here we can see the progressed sun and moon, and you can see how the moon is at 26 degrees of Gemini and the sun is at 28 degrees. So that is just before you get to a new moon. So when you're in this phase, it's clearing old karma and winding down. It lacks the fire to fight external battles right now in this dark moon phase. And who is bringing the battle right now? Well, that would be Candace. And here's the key synastry. Candace's Mars falls into TPUSA's 12th house of secrets and hidden enemies and hits the company where it's most private and vulnerable. So here's the 12th house right here. And this is Candace's chart on the outside, and you can see her Mars is right there. Mars is action, desire, passion, and aggression, and it can be destructive. So you can see here's Mars right here. Her drive is unregulated because it is what's called out of bounds in relation to the declination of the sun. This is a rogue Mars without the influence of the consciousness of the sun. Because her Mars is in Cancer, it's in its fall, in the place opposite of its exaltation. A planet in fall can be in disgrace, downfall, not respected, and driven to act in unbalanced ways to get the attention and respect they are deprived of. This Mars can be an expert at undermining the progress of the company in this position in the 12th house. In Cancer, her Mars would be better used as a quiet ally fighting to nurture, that would be Cancer, and protect the company in crisis. TPUSA can be overwhelmed by the aggressiveness and invasiveness of this Mars in their private affairs. Just a quick break from the presentation. Check out Pure Astrology cards to help you study the keywords related to the planets, signs, houses, and aspects. They are the easiest, most beautiful way to learn astrology on your own. You can find my affiliate link in the description. Use code PZAstrology to get 10% off of the purchase price, or use free ship to get up to $15 off of shipping. TPUSA has the North Node in Sagittarius and the South Node in Gemini. So TPUSA has the North Node here and the South Node here in Gemini. The recent lunar eclipse in Virgo, it was about a month or so ago, squares this nodal axis. So here are the transiting nodes. And you can see how that's a square. Doing this, so you can actually see how it actually makes a grand square for TPUSA. This creates a crisis of consciousness and a crisis at the crossroads. It forces the company to reconcile its 11th house network and community with its 5th house soul, the founder's original creative spark. With the Virgo eclipse falling in the company's 2nd house of assets and values, this culmination or revelation could bring to light financial vulnerabilities or force an end to certain sectors of service. Some type of change to the company's funding or tangible assets could arise. Charlie himself had a North Node at 3 degrees of Sagittarius. This is Charlie's chart on the outside here, and here's his North Node. Again, as I mentioned before, conjunct TPUSA's North Node. This eclipse is also a nodal square to his chart. So it's forcing a final reckoning with his vision for TPUSA, living on even after he's gone. Both Erika and Candace are having their nodal returns. So you can see I have highlighted here the nodes. This purple outer ring is Erika's chart with the North Node here at 10 degrees Pisces. This is Candace's chart on the next inner ring with her North Node at 2 degrees Pisces. And this is TPUSA's chart with the node in Sagittarius. And the outer ring is transits from March 20th. It's just the date where I was preparing this. The North Node is also in Pisces. So that is a nodal return when the transiting nodes comes back to the same position it was when you were born. So their shared North Node in Pisces puts them in the eye of the storm regarding the company's 8th house, because their 8th house is Pisces. This is TPUSA's 8th house. The 8th house is the house of legacy, death, shared resources, and secrets. They're both fated to be here at this time. In fact, both Erika and Candace are permanent nodal squares to both Charlie and TPUSA. So you see this is a square here, and you'll remember that Charlie's North Node is here at about the same position as TPUSA's North Node. So that means that both Candace and Erika are drivers of conflict and change in terms of all of their destinies. Candace feels fated to dig up the company's buried secrets and dissolve its legacy. With her North Node in the company's 8th house, she sees herself as the purifier, or the one to dig up the buried bodies of the company's history. Erika's North Node is at 10 degrees Pisces. As the widow, she is also experiencing a fated moment of inherited karma. She is trying to hold on to the 8th house legacy, while her nodal return demands she surrender the parts that are no longer true. Her Scorpio Sun, Mercury, and Pluto, so you see she has a Scorpio stellium here in the 4th house of TPUSA's chart. So they are making her the guardian of the grave, naturally holding power over the company's secrets. Her Aries, Moon, and Mars, which are here in the company's 9th house, makes her the aggressive warrior protecting the fortress. Candace and Erika are locked together by a shared degree of Pluto. They are destined to change and transform TPUSA. One is trying to keep the power within, that's Erika with her sun in TPUSA's Scorpio 4th house, the place of its foundation and roots, and the other is trying to blow it up and make it public, Candace with her sun in TPUSA's 10th house of public reputation. This is why she may feel entitled to lead, control, and run TPUSA. This is a fated transformative war where neither side leaves unchanged. The biggest shift is yet to come. Look at the timeline. This progressed new moon is the seed moment planted in the dark. Happening in TPUSA's 11th house, it suggests a new direction and a fresh start for the organization, as with any new moon. But it happens just as the lights go out. The Sabian symbol for 29 degrees Gemini is the first mockingbird of spring, signifying a new way of communicating that mimics the old but carries a fresh frequency. Shortly after the progressed new moon, the progressed moon goes into the hidden 12th house. That's going to be right here. The progressed moon is going to go in the 12th house. That will be another end of the cycle space. This is a major shift. The company's mood could go from the social 11th house into the cloisters of the 12th. This period, which lasts over 2 years, is about these things: invisibility and legal seclusion, identifying undoers within the organization, shedding the old and planning for the new, the hidden enemy audit. With the ruler of the 12th, the moon in Capricorn, conjunct Pluto in the 6th house, this indicates either destructive, excessive internal purges or a regenerative effort to empower an elite service-oriented team. The company's operations may become hidden from the public eye, or services and staff may move to a new home, office, or location. In July 2026, Jupiter transits TPUSA's 1st house in Leo. This acts as a protective shield of public favor and optimism while the organization undergoes its internal 12th house restructuring. Here, the organization may find many new opportunities from its own efforts. Jupiter in the 1st will help to balance the hidden aspect of the 12th house progressed moon. In June 2027, the progressed sun goes into the 12th house. This is the definitive beginning of the end of an era. The vitality of the company may be dimmed a little bit. This could mark the dissolution of the original entity or a total rebranding where the old name and face changes. So it's really just the beginning when the sun first enters a new sign, where it can feel, it's kind of like a cold front, it can feel a little bit more disruptive. And then once the sun is in the new sign for a little while, things can balance out. Finally, transiting Uranus conjuncts TPUSA's South Node while Pluto trines it. This is a radical, sudden, and permanent transformation of the company's history with its audience and supporters. Uranus conjunct the South Node is a sudden break from the past. There could be an association with new partnerships, groups, and technology that puts the organization back on the path of its original destiny, but in a new and unique form. The Saturn opposition in Aries opposes natal Saturn in Libra. This is a judgment from an authority, the board, or the legal system. The company's contract with the public is challenged by a new aggressive law or philosophical shift. There may be a review and change of the structure of the organization and its long-term stability. With Saturn in Aries, TPUSA will have to be careful since Saturn is in its fall here. It will have to be cautious about straying too far from its allies and diplomacy in an effort to be recognized for its disciplined action and leadership. So what does this all mean? For the company, TPUSA is in a death and rebirth cycle. It should not fight the 12th house pull. The more the company tries to stay in the Leo spotlight, the more the 12th house shadows will haunt it. The whole sign 12th house in Cancer suggests the company's struggle becomes about family, safety, and foundations, not just about business. For Erika, the nodal return is asking her to find peace with what was lost, Charlie and his original vision, rather than defending a structure that is already crumbling because it's at the end of a larger cycle, and basically was born to transform at this point in time, just as Charlie would have, since his direction and TPUSA's direction were exactly aligned through their north nodes in Sagittarius. For Candace, she is a karmic agent for the company. Whether her intentions are good or evil, she's the tool of the cosmos to force the company into its 12th house reckoning. Note how the progressed new moon in May 2026 happens right before the moon enters the 12th house in June. It's like the company makes a New Year's resolution and then immediately goes into a 3-year retreat. And because the 8th house of legacy is ruled by Jupiter, and transiting Jupiter moves into TPSA's first house in Leo in July 2026, the company might try to use the grandeur of the late CEO, Charlie, to save itself one last time, right as the moon goes into the 12th house. It's amazing how this conflict is reflected in the stars. The ultimate fate of Turning Point USA's original vision is now a countdown to June 2027. All we can do is observe and see how everything continues to unfold. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Pierre. This is PZ Astrology, where I help you to understand the seasons and turning points in your life. Until later, bright souls.